Marie's birthday was supposed to be a simple, joyful celebration with friends and a little party atmosphere. Everyone was excited to be there, enjoying the decorations, the laughter, and the energy of the day. But little did anyone know, the evening would take a turn that no one could have predicted. Right as the party was in full swing, a new face walked in, Martin. Marie introduced him as her boyfriend. Martin was polite, friendly, and easy to talk to. He carried himself with a quiet confidence, and you could tell he was genuinely interested in being part of the celebration. He even shared that he was from Berlin, Germany, and had spent most of his life there, which added a little intrigue to his character. The atmosphere seemed light and happy, and everyone was ready to enjoy themselves. Marie was glowing with excitement, clearly proud to have Martin by her side. But just as everyone was settling in, there was a sudden shift. Cedric, Marie's ex-husband, appeared at the party. He approached Marie, and in front of everyone, greeted her with a huge, unmistakable kiss. The room went silent for a moment. People were confused, unsure of what to say or how to react. The energy that had been light and fun suddenly felt charged and tense. Martin, standing nearby, looked on, polite but perhaps slightly confused. It was clear that Marie had not anticipated this encounter in the same way as the rest of her guests. Cedric's arrival and his affectionate greeting created a complicated situation that no one could ignore. Marie, meanwhile, remained composed but visibly uneasy. She had invited Martin first, planning to introduce him to her circle and celebrate their relationship. Cedric's unexpected appearance threw everything into chaos. She explained that Cedric had initially said he would not come, but at the last minute, he decided to attend. This revelation added another layer to the situation. Martin was aware that Cedric was back in the area and possibly spending time with Marie again, but he did not know Cedric personally. Cedric, on the other hand, knew about Marie having a new friend, but he did not realize the depth of her relationship with Martin. Both men were navigating a situation they had not signed up for, and Marie was in the middle, trying to make sense of it all. The tension was palpable, but the party continued, at least on the surface. Guests tried to focus on the music, the decorations, and the food, but the underlying drama was impossible to ignore. People whispered among themselves, speculating on what would happen next. Some were trying to remain polite and enjoy the evening, while others were fixated on the unfolding scenario. Marie, for her part, decided to face the situation head-on. She approached Martin and Cedric individually to ensure that they both understood where she stood and what her intentions were. In a quiet moment away from the crowd, Marie spoke with Martin. She reassured him that he was her boyfriend and that she valued their relationship. Martin listened, nodding in understanding, but there was still a hint of uncertainty in his eyes. He was polite and considerate, trying to navigate a situation that was more complicated than he had expected. Marie then turned to Cedric, who was equally aware of the tension. Cedric had been friendly, warm, and perhaps a little nostalgic, but he understood that the past could not define the present. Marie made it clear that she was committed to making the party enjoyable and that everyone's feelings should be respected. As the evening continued, the dynamics between the three became a central focus. Martin and Cedric interacted cautiously, both aware of the potential for conflict. Cedric shared that he had children from his previous marriage, and although they were not present at the party, it was a reminder of the responsibilities he carried and the life he had outside of the celebration. Martin, on the other hand, shared stories from his life in Germany, speaking about his experiences and his interests, which helped to diffuse some of the tension. Despite the initial shock, it became clear that both men were trying to respect Marie's boundaries and maintain civility. Guests observed the interactions with curiosity. Some were supportive of Marie, acknowledging that juggling past relationships and new love interests could be complicated. Others were intrigued by the drama unfolding in real time, unsure whether the evening would escalate or settle into a manageable rhythm. Marie navigated these social dynamics with grace, ensuring that everyone felt included while also maintaining her own sense of control over the situation. She laughed, smiled, and engaged in conversation with her friends, demonstrating a poise that allowed the party to continue despite the underlying tension. Throughout the night, small moments highlighted the complexity of the situation. Martin noticed the lingering familiarity between Marie and Cedric, moments that spoke of a shared history that could not be erased overnight. Cedric, in turn, noticed Marie's comfort and confidence with Martin, a reminder that life moved forward and relationships evolved. Marie found herself balancing a tension between the two men, making sure that no one felt ignored or uncomfortable. Her ability to manage these interactions showed a level of emotional intelligence that impressed many of the guests. At one point, Marie gathered the courage to speak openly about the circumstances. She admitted that inviting both Martin and Cedric had created a complicated scenario but emphasized that she wanted the evening to remain positive. She expressed gratitude for both men being there, acknowledging that the presence of each added a unique dimension to the celebration. Martin appreciated the honesty, and Cedric nodded in agreement, recognizing that past relationships required understanding and boundaries to avoid conflict. The party also included other guests, friends who were observing, commenting, and engaging in light-hearted gossip. Their reactions added color to the evening, as they speculated on the potential outcomes of the encounter. Some joked about the situation, while others expressed genuine concern for Marie and how she would handle the attention of two significant men in her life at the same time. These social dynamics reflected the universal experience of navigating complex relationships, friendships, and personal boundaries in a social setting. As the night wore on, the party began to settle into a rhythm. Conversations shifted from the initial shock of Martin and Cedric being in the same room to lighter topics: music, food, shared memories, and personal updates. Marie continued to be the center of attention, effortlessly moving between guests, ensuring that everyone felt included, and managing interactions between Martin and Cedric. The tension never fully disappeared, but it became part of the backdrop rather than the focal point. Marie also made a conscious effort to include both men in meaningful ways. She asked Martin about his life in Berlin, his travels, and his interests, giving him to share and be recognized. She engaged Cedric in memories from the past, acknowledging their shared history while also emphasizing the importance of moving forward. By doing this, Marie managed to create a balance, allowing both men to feel valued without compromising her own enjoyment of the party. As the evening progressed, the subtle complexities of human relationships became evident. Marie's ability to navigate these challenges highlighted her maturity and emotional intelligence. She understood that relationships were layered, that people carried histories with them, and that social settings could amplify both tension and joy. Martin and Cedric, despite the initial awkwardness, began to interact more naturally, recognizing that Marie's intentions were to create an enjoyable experience for everyone. There were also humorous moments that lightened the mood. Guests whispered about the love triangle that had inadvertently formed, joking about how Marie was managing two significant men at the same event. Some speculated about how future encounters might unfold, while others simply marveled at Marie's ability to handle the situation with grace. These moments of levity reminded everyone that while drama could arise, human connections were ultimately about understanding, communication, and respect. By the end of the evening, the party had transformed from a potential scene of conflict into an example of careful navigation of complex social dynamics. Marie had successfully balanced her attention, managed expectations, and maintained her own enjoyment of the celebration. Martin and Cedric left the party with a better understanding of each other's presence in Marie's life, acknowledging the boundaries and histories that existed. Guests departed with stories to tell, reflecting on the unique and sometimes unexpected turns that social gatherings can take. Throughout the entire night, Marie remained the focal point, not because she sought attention, but because her life and relationships created a natural center for conversation and observation. Her ability to manage the interactions between Martin and Cedric, to provide for both men while maintaining her own joy, was a testament to her emotional intelligence and social grace. The evening demonstrated that even in potentially complicated situations, people could navigate relationships with honesty, respect, and a sense of humor. The birthday celebration also served as a reminder of how life often presents unexpected moments. One moment, everything seems straightforward, and the next, a surprise guest or an unanticipated interaction can change the entire dynamic. Marie's birthday illustrated this perfectly. The night was not just about cake, music, and gifts, it was about managing the unexpected, honoring past relationships, and embracing new ones. The story of the evening would likely be remembered by all who attended, both for the drama and for the skill with which Marie handled the situation. In reflecting on the party, it became clear that Marie's approach was thoughtful and deliberate. She understood that relationships required honesty, boundaries, and careful communication. By addressing each man individually, she avoided unnecessary conflict and created a respectful environment. Her guests recognized her efforts, commenting on how she handled a potentially awkward situation with dignity and grace. Martin appreciated her transparency and openness, while Cedric acknowledged the care she took to respect all parties involved. The night ended on a positive note, with laughter, memories, and shared stories. While the initial shock of having both Martin and Cedric at the same party had created tension, Marie's careful navigation of the evening allowed everyone to leave feeling included and respected. The celebration became more than just a birthday party, it became a demonstration of how complex social interactions could be managed with patience, understanding, and grace. As the story of Marie's birthday spread among friends and guests, it became a point of conversation and reflection. People marveled at the unexpected circumstances and admired Marie's ability to handle them with poise. They discussed how past relationships and new ones could intersect, creating moments that were both challenging and illuminating. Marie's handling of the situation became a subtle lesson in emotional intelligence, social navigation, and the importance of communication in relationships. By the time the party was truly over, everyone involved had learned something about themselves and about human interaction. Marie had celebrated her birthday surrounded by people who mattered to her, navigating complex with care and ensuring that both Martin and Cedric were treated with respect. The evening's events would be remembered not only for the initial surprise and tension but also for the way in which the celebration concluded on a positive, reflective note. In the end, Marie's birthday was more than just a party. It was a testament to her ability to manage complicated relationships with grace, to honor her past while embracing her present, and to create a where honesty and respect could prevail. Martin and Cedric left with a better understanding of each other and of Marie's intentions. Guests left with stories that would last for weeks, discussing the unexpected drama and the ways in which Marie had skillfully managed it. And Marie herself left with the knowledge that even in complicated situations, she could maintain control, celebrate her life, and ensure that joy and connection remained at the center of her special day. The story of that evening would continue to circulate among friends, family, and acquaintances. People would talk about the birthday party where Marie's boyfriend and ex-husband both showed up, analyzing the interactions, reflecting on the dynamics, and sharing their own perspectives on love, relationships, and social grace. And through it all, Marie's poise, clarity, and ability to navigate complexity would remain the focal point, reminding everyone that even in messy situations, it was possible to maintain dignity, honesty, and joy.